What up, meat, and welcome to Erosion, the first map of the single elimination stage of the Artilea and New World Tournament. This Middle Eastern themed map is a product of the collaborative efforts of South Pole and Raptors. Resources are plentiful, and the PvP action more so. This map has been played in a number of unofficial tournaments and was even featured in RMCT 5 there and back again. But while it isn't anything new and unknown, different teams have managed to compose different strategies to wrestle this map into submission and claim victory over it and their opponents. However, for those unfamiliar with Erosion, this is a quick and concise tour to catch you up on the playing field for the next 4 games of the tournament. Players will begin their matches by dropping into a pond located in the main village. Here lies plenty of supply crates located in and outside the houses, and most can be reached with little to no exposure to PvP. Among the supplies found in these chests are weapons, food, and torches. Players who lust for more in terms of resources must enter the falafel stand and deal with the viciously vertical mineshaft. At over 50 blocks tall, one false step will send those who dare traverse it plummeting to their demise. But the risk is worth the reward, with the bounty consisting of plenty of iron, diamond, and gold blocks. It's because of these valuable items that this mineshaft has become an early game battlefield for a majority of teams. Those too timid to brave the gauntlet will be able to encounter the fountain that is the victory monument. Afterwards, it will become very apparent that the village is around 30 blocks higher than the rest of the map and that the change in elevation is rather abrupt. Players must use their collective wit to find a way down to safety so that they may conquer the dungeons and claim their wool. After descending, players will encounter a sandstone palace. Up the ladder of the largest building is a chest that contains a fair few archery supplies, including a Power 1 bow. Those who choose to go down the ladder will not only be able to access a tomb, which contains some nice armor and other tools, but they will also gain access to First Wool. There are 2 paths one can take when attacking this dungeon. One which is faster but is exposed to arrow fire for its entirety, or one that is slower but can avoid PvP pressure for the most part. This wool is rather basic and often regarded as an afterthought for most teams, but a well-placed archer has the potential to turn this forgotten dungeon into a nightmare burned into your opponent's memories for years to come. Continuing past the palace, players will have to climb a rather large sand dune. Concealed within is a cave system with copious amounts of iron, as well as a large supply of diamonds further within. There's TNT scattered throughout these caves and 2 wooden buttons that can start a reaction with a well-placed shot. Shooting these buttons does come at the cost of making the remaining resources much easier to collect for the other team, so players must weigh the pros and cons of shooting these buttons. Also concealed within the sand is a chest containing potion supplies to assist with tackling the walls that lie further on. Past the sand dunes, players will have to brave the waters of the oasis. The foliage surrounding this pool hides supply chests for weapons and food, as well as a large quantity of TNT supplies. However, to most, this spring of life is actually the harbinger of doom and despair, for it contains the entrance to Second Wool. This twisted, duckling-shaped horror has claimed more victims than victors have claimed it. It's a relentless PvE dungeon that requires players to battle mobs while completely submerged, before forcing them into a literal uphill struggle. Fighting mobs so relentless, players will be crying and sucking their thumbs until their tear ducts are swollen up from overuse and their thumbs have been sucked raw and bloody. To rub salt into the wounds, this wool is also open to PvP fire for the most part, allowing players to make it even harder for the opposition. This wool has often been a point of struggle for some teams. Finally, once done with the oasis, players will enter an area that is plagued by sinkholes, some of which contain some nice supplies, but others are nothing but a scare for the unsuspecting. The obsidian cave extruding the terrain is the entrance point for the Third Wool dungeon. Players have to conquer the handful of miniature dungeons and power a block with redstone at the other end. Once all 3 blocks are powered, Third Wool will become available to pick up from the wool box, located on the surface just before the wool entrance. The challenges that players have to brave consist of a 1 block wide tunnel requiring players to break blocks, place blocks, and fear for their lives as they are assaulted by arrow fire and have the constant threat of TNT falling onto their heads, a suspenseful descent over the void, and finally a PvE section where players have to avoid mobs dropping into their path. This dungeon has proved to be the most common lockdown spot for most teams, and by extension, the most PvP heavy area of the map. The games to be played on Erosion this round are Dix Insider vs Fleece Acquisition Program, Bulletproof vs Noble Waffles, Team Illuminati vs The Unambiguous Subs, and 404 Will Not Found vs Chocolate Sauce. Be sure to tune in to twitch.tv/ArtileaRFW to catch these games live, or if you've already missed them, be sure to check them out on this YouTube channel, where they are uploaded to be watched at any time.